In this video, we're going to talk about when you should rebalance your 529 plans and how to get the most bang for your buck with these accounts. What's up, guys? I'm Kay Scholl. Welcome to another financial awareness video. I've got two 529 accounts, one for each of our daughters, and a while back, a buddy of mine called me up and asked me what he should do with his 529 because his son's college plans were changing. So that's what inspired this video. You'll want to watch all the way through to the end because I've got a few ideas on how this could really impact your family over the next few generations. So stay tuned for that. Okay, so rebalancing your accounts. You've got your starting point of either conservative, moderately conservative, balanced, aggressive, or very aggressive. From there, based on your investment selections, the account will perform well or underperform based on your initial investment selections. If you're currently invested with a target date fund within your 529, there isn't a whole lot of rebalancing that you need to do because that's one of the main benefits of those types of funds. They typically start out more aggressive and gradually get more conservative the closer you get to the time horizon of when you'll need to start liquidating money from that fund. For the rest of us that aren't in target date funds, you should rebalance your 529 account annually. You really should be looking at these accounts regularly, but you're not going to need to rebalance them as often as you look at them. I like to glance at ours, I'd say on a weekly basis, because that teaches me a thing or two about how our funds are performing compared to their index and really the overall market sentiment for that period of time. I also like to look at it, I'd say monthly, because that's when we make our contributions, and I just want to make sure everything goes smoothly. But as I mentioned a moment ago, you really should rebalance them annually. However, this tends to correlate with the type of investor you are. Some are more hands-on and some are more hands-off. The degree of confidence you have to make sound investment decisions will dictate how often you make changes and rebalance. There are also certain life events when you should rebalance your 529. Did your kid get a lump sum of money for their birthday, Christmas, or Hanukkah? Maybe you should dump in that lump sum contribution into something different than what you're already allocated in. What about a divorce when you and your spouse are splitting up certain accounts? Maybe you are taking over a different account and your spouse is taking over another account and they're both 529s. Or maybe based on your risk tolerance, you want your contribution going into your kid's 529 to be invested and allocated one way, and your spouse making a contribution into the same 529 wants his or her allocation invested differently. At the end of the day, working together for the benefit of your children probably is the best route to go, but that doesn't mean that your contributions have to be invested the same way as your ex-partner. Also, has there been an unfortunate death in the family where somebody left funds to be given to your children for the purpose of college? That will be another lump sum contribution. Not a bad idea to dollar cost average into the 529, but give yourself the option of dumping some money in on a lump sum basis throughout the year from time to time. Time out. I don't even think we went over what it means to even rebalance your account. So let's take a quick second and talk about that. It's really not that hard as long as you remove your emotion from making this decision. Basically, what you do is you review your account and the specific funds that you're investing in, and you take what has performed well and has gone up in value, and you sell out of that, not all of it, but some of it, and you purchase what has underperformed, what has gone down in value. Buy low, sell high. Now, if you're 4 to 5 years out from your child starting college, you probably don't have a child anymore, and you've got a little mini you. You've got a kid that's ending middle school or starting high school, and you'll want to rebalance probably around that time. I hope their acne wasn't as bad as mine. Now, also, this is when you're going to want to really analyze your time horizon and start to wrap your mind around not only your kid leaving the nest, but financially what to do with this account. Keep in mind that you're not going to liquidate this entire account all at once they go off and you leave them at their dorm room. This is probably going to have some sort of a stair-step approach where the account hopefully grows and then you take a chunk out for tuition, and then maybe it grows and you take a chunk out for tuition. So you're not going to have to take everything out all at once, and you should keep that in mind. If you're 1 year out from making your first tuition payment from this 529, you're definitely going to want to rebalance this account and go through it with a fine comb. Do not be afraid to talk to your kid about the cost of college. This is the time of their life where they are going to start to grow up. How many YouTube videos or how much research have you done where you hear people say, my parents didn't teach me anything about money? This is that opportunity for you. Teach your kids about money. This is that time in their life where they need to grow up a little bit and start to learn what things actually cost. Try to estimate scholarships. Even if they don't think or you don't think they will get it, it's not a bad life lesson to try something even if it might fail. That's a good life lesson for them to learn while they're still at home in your nest when you can control their emotions and teach them a thing or two about failure. But if they do get a scholarship, that's all the better. Maybe that can go towards tuition or books or a meal plan or room and board. Talk to your kid about the idea of working through college. There's no harm or foul in work. Quick story, I've got 3 brothers. 3 of us graduated college with student loans, and our youngest brother said, yeah, I don't want that to happen. He was the only one that worked through school, got some scholarships, got some grants, and graduated completely debt-free without any student loans. So it's absolutely possible for sure. Analyze what you may want to cash flow yourself. If you're blessed to be in a situation where you're comfortable with the 529 account balance by the time your child starts college, maybe see if there's anything you might want to cash flow yourself if you're blessed to be in that situation. Also, here's a hot take for you. If you're 1 year out, I would recommend you take whatever the tuition is going to cost for that first freshman year of college and just keep it in the account, but hold it in cash. I wouldn't invest it because you never know. And then as your child, your kid, goes through college, I would repeat that. Once you're 1 year out, you sell whatever has done well and you hold that in cash. Sure, you might lose a little bit of return over that short-term 10 to 12 month period, but what you gain is the peace of mind of knowing that every next semester's check is already in the account, in cash, and not susceptible to market fluctuation. Hey, if you're getting value from this video, you can let me know by tapping that like button. Would love for you to subscribe. I usually post financial planning and money videos each week. Okay, let's talk about getting the most bang for your buck. In the event there are surplus funds within the 529, here are a few ideas for you to consider. Idea number 1, you are the owner of the account, so you can control who the beneficiary is and you can change the beneficiary once per year. Maybe you consider changing the beneficiary to another one of your children, or possibly a first cousin for some reason, a grandparent, an aunt, an uncle, your spouse, or perhaps yourself. By the time your kid graduates from college where there might be surplus funds in this account, you'll probably be in your mid to late 50s depending on when you had your kid. And even if there's only a few $1,000s in this account, you could use that money yourself for a local community college to maybe learn something different, give yourself a hobby or something to do during your retirement years. Idea number 2, if you don't use all the funds in the 529 and want to cash it out, you'll pay federal income taxes plus a 10% penalty on the growth. Not your basis, 10% on the growth. So to get the most bang for your buck, you'll want to transfer ownership from yourself to your child because I would imagine they are going to be in a smaller tax bracket than yourself. If you haven't seen my 2021 tax bracket video, you'll want to check that out. But hypothetically, let's just say that your child graduates in December and has no earned income that last year they were a full-time student in college. That would mean that they could liquidate and pull out $9,950 and only pay a 10% federal income tax plus the 10% penalty for using these funds on non-qualified education-related expenses. However, you'll save a little bit of money because I would imagine your tax bracket is higher than that 10% tax bracket that they will be at that last year. Idea number 3, there are no rules that say you have to liquidate this account. So don't pull any of the money out. Keep it exactly where it's at maybe rebalance it to a good dividend-paying ETF and let it continue to just grow and grow and grow. You might want to consult with your CPA on this to give you the warm and fuzzies and make sure it's okay, because you're going to want to avoid the generation skipping tax, the GST. But the main point here is you are legally allowed to transfer ownership from yourself to your child. There's no rules that say your child has to liquidate the account by a certain age. So this money is going to continue to grow tax deferred, and as long as it's spent on a qualified education-related expense, it's going to come out tax-free. So as long as you give it to your child and they don't pull any money out, it's going to continue to grow. And that money will be used on your grandchildren for your grandchild's college, which will be pretty nice. Let's assume your kid graduates from their undergraduate program at the age of 22 and they don't pursue any further formal education. Then, 8 years later, they have their first kid at the age of 30. And then, when your grandchild is 18 years old, ready for college, there would have been approximately 26 years of growth. On a hypothetical $6,000 with an average rate of return of 7% and a time horizon of 26 years, this $6,000 of surplus could potentially turn into almost $35,000 of money that can be used for your grandchild's qualified education college needs and will be able to pull from this account completely tax-free. Hey, if you want to learn more about my thoughts on teaching kids about money, check out this podcast I did with Dustin Owen. Or, I don't know, you might like that one instead. If you have any questions for me, let me know in the comments down below. I appreciate your time. See you in the next one.